Hey, I'm Nate Smith.
I'm Mark Lettieri.
Hi, I'm Joe Dart. I play bass in the Ola. Nope, wrong band.
Yeah. My name is Cory Wong. I play the electric guitar in the Fearless Flyers. As I'm talking, you're kind of mouthing my words back to me. It's distracting.
Nuh-uh. Hi, guys. I'm Dara. Quilty. We're going from the heel to the football. The Fearless Flyers. Italia.
Am I tired? Yeah, you might be able to tell by my eyes. I'm a little tired. We've been traveling a lot. Am I going to complain one bit? Look behind me. No, I'm not complaining.
I'm not gonna lie, this coffee kind of sucks.
What good coffee shop do you know sells skibbity brain rot chips? You know, you kind of got to pick. Fearless Flyers started in like 2018.
From what I was told, the creation of the Fearless Flyers was essentially Jack Stratton's idea to have a band.
It's 3 guitars on stands, guitar, baritone guitar, bass guitar. Nate Smith is the drummer, just kick, snare, hat.
I recall Jack Stratton sending me videos of Nate Smith. So we were trading these videos, just nerding out. We were fans from afar.
For me, from my vantage point, I was sitting at home in my apartment in Harlem, and I got an email from Cory Wong.
Never met Nate Smith, cold emailed him from his website, which was like, hey, my name's Cory from this band Wolfpack. We got this idea for a side project, blah, blah, blah. Here's the deal. Don't have to prepare anything. Just meet us in LA for 3 days.
Had never met Cory, had never met any of the Wolf guys. Been following them online, but I'd never met them. Anyway, Cory sent me this email and he says, hey, we've got this idea for a band. You, me, Joe Dart, and Mark Lettieri, and Jack Stratton wants to call it the Fearless Flyers. Are you interested?
That's how it was kind of presented to me in a very, very vague email from Cory.
A little more work to get Mark. I call him up. I get his email or his number from somebody, some mutual friend. It's like, hey, my name's Cory, blah, blah, blah. We have a bunch of mutual friends. We have this idea for a side project. Let me know if you're down.
It was pretty vague, to be honest. You know, it was in all lowercase because it's how he writes, which drives me nuts. But that's it's his thing. It just said, we're starting a new project. Wolfpack is going to start kind of releasing new projects under this label that they started. And the first one we'd like to try out is this concept with me on guitar, Joe Dart on bass, and then it said, hopefully you on baritone guitar, and hopefully Nate Smith on drums. There was no mention of the music or any sort of creative direction or anything like that. It just sort of had a time frame. It was like, I think it said, we're going to try to record at the beginning of the year in LA. And that was it. And I didn't really know what to do with the email.
Calls me up. He's just like, tell me about what you guys got going on there in the Wolfpack world. That's my Mark impression. Is that how you sound like, Mark?
I'm sorry, was
Tell me about what you guys got going on for a project. I'm not quite sure what you're looking to do.
Mind me, man. I'm just driving a jock strap right now.
Is that an actual jock strap?
Yeah, dude.
What are you doing with a jock? What are you playing football?
Protect the nuts, man. I don't like running with them.
Protecting your nuts from what?
I'm not wearing a cup, genius. It's just a jock.
Guy's wearing a nut cup when he runs. I don't know what he's running from. You can't use a boxer briefs, dude.
You straight away, I'm in.
No, I wasn't, because for a number of reasons. For one, I was apprehensive about the creative direction because I'd like to have some kind of information in that regard before I agree to something, you know. I wasn't totally comfortable with the idea of just being the baritone guitar player. Because for me, baritone as an extension of my creative endeavors hadn't quite found its place for me yet. I hadn't quite assumed that role yet. And guitar players are funny. We're like, hey man, I play guitar too. I can play guitar in this band too, And then kind of beyond that, it was an interesting time for both Wolf and my other band, Snarky Puppy. And I think I kind of got into my head a little bit reading the comments, like, is this a Snarky Puppy versus Wolfpack? Are we rival bands? Are Mark and Cory rival guitar players? Like, there was all this sort of noise that was kind of in my head, and it actually kind of affected my decision a little bit.
So Mark calls me up. He's like, hey, tell me about what you guys got going on. I'm just like, yeah, here's this project, blah, blah, this and this and that. It's going to be awesome. It's fun. Don't have to learn anything, blah, blah, blah. He's like,
I'm kind of busy, man. I don't know. Let me think about it or whatever. Because I wasn't going to spill. I didn't know the guy.
I got this gig in Ireland. I got to learn a bunch of these Irish songs. It's a lot of work. I don't know, man. I just find somebody else. I'm like, all right, who am I going to get?
After we had the conversation, I ended up talking to my wife about it. She could probably read me better than I can. And I have a tendency to get in my own head about a lot of things. And I think this is one of those situations. And she just said, I don't know, it sounds like a lot of fun.
And like 4 minutes later, I get a call back from Mark. He's like, I'm an idiot. Yes, I'll do it. Like, all right, thank you. Come on, bro. It's easy. You got to learn something. You don't have to learn anything for this. Just show up for 3 days. And we're going to hang and it's going to be fun.
I watched a few of the Wolf videos, and there were two in particular that intrigued me. They did 2 videos with David T. Walker and James Gadsden.
Anytime you think about her.
I was like, these guys know a little something about music. If they're going to go get those guys and put them on a, they know there's a little history in what they're doing. So I was like, I'm down to do it. Let's see what happens.
We also had a moment like that with a video clip online of Mark Lettieri. And that video clip was from a super jam that took place in Denver, Colorado, where I was on bass and Mark was on guitar, and some other great kind of jam musicians were brought together for a one-off. Actually, the day we met, we shared a hotel room. It was quite fast, but we were on the gig in Denver. We were in the same hotel room, and we played some funk jams, kind of some, it was a bit of the funk and disco wedding canon. And Jack Stratton saw an Instagram clip that I posted from that show, and it was Mark playing this downstroke funk guitar where he was going all downstroke. And it's just this kind of signature sound he has, which is something like, to me, it's like Texas meets Minneapolis. It's like funky, but it's got this kind of chicken picking, twangy sound. And he's also got a flavor of shred in it, because Mark is, at least to my ear, kind of a student of, Steve Vai, Metallica, and everything in between. So we were nerding out about that video, and Jack kind of told me, like, oh man, we got to do something with Mark.
I hadn't quite really understand the Wolfpack thing at that point. I didn't get how they worked or how the whole realm sort of existed for them.
Yeah, I mean, I think the idea was pitched to me in probably 2016 or 2017, and I think the first session was in 2018.
Jack A&R'd the whole thing. Like, he had the vision for it. He's the Lou Pearlman of funk, he's sans all the other stuff. But he had the whole vision. It was there. He just needed the cats.
Jack came up sort of, with an entire concept that was fully fleshed out, which I'm sure some of the other guys have mentioned, which was just, he saw it as if in a dream. Flight suits, guitar stands, Nate Smith, bass, baritone, guitar. And you'd have to ask him how he came up with it. But by the time I heard the idea, it was fully fleshed out, and Jack pretty much delivered on that, and he invited everyone out to LA.
I never met him. Never met Cory, never met Jack, never met Mark, Joe. So my showing up in LA on, I guess, January 2nd or 3rd, 2018 was my first time meeting all the cats.
The stands and the uniforms, Jack just knew this would be fun. It's a gimmick, but it's cool. And having a visual gimmick with like Olympic level subdivision is a cool concept. It's fun. So first day of the session, Mark and Nate did not know it was a wardrobe gig. I get out the flight suits, get out the boots. We had this big old thick bomber jacket and like old school bomber hat and sunglasses, like, the goggles for Nate.
I think there was some hesitation. I think maybe Mark and Nate were listening to Jack talk about the uniforms, the bomber jacket and the helmet. I believe an early aviator helmet concept and maybe even goggles were mentioned for Nate. And so I think everyone was kind of like, oh, okay. All right.
And Mark's just like, what's this? I'm like, just trust me. And the whole time he's like, I didn't even want to do this, man. What am I doing here? Now you got me dressing up in some Halloween costume for the kids. Like, just trust us. It's gonna be cool. It's gonna work. It's gonna be fun.
And we recorded, and I just remember being in the room and just being like, this is insane. I'm looking over the drum kit. There's 3 pieces. There's a cinder block holding the bass drum.
When I walked in, I saw that Jack had set up a frame drum as a bass drum with a cinder block in front of it so that it wouldn't move. And there was a pillow in the middle of the drum and a mic shoved into the pillow. And a snare drum and a hi-hat. And that was all that was there. And I was like, oh, this is going to be different. Like, this is going to be a little different.
There's Mark playing out of a tiny guitar amp, like this is like, Mark to me, he's this kind of guitar god, as is Cory, but like now I'm hearing him through this tiny little amp in a garage in LA. And it's like, there's not a lot of mojo in the room.
Initially, Jack had this idea of me wearing a leather bomber jacket and like flight goggles, right? Like there's an album cover of Thelonious Monk. He sent me this album cover with Thelonious Monk. He's wearing flight. I forget the name of the album, but like the flight scarf and all that. But I just, we did a couple of songs with sunglasses and the leather jacket on, and I was just roasting in the leather. I was just slow roasting, man.
Hey, I mean, really, just got in there and here comes the music. And oh, by the way, you're playing on these guitar holders. You're wearing flight suits and boots, and we're recording it all like DI,
And I was just, you can see those videos. There's a couple that are online from the first record, and I'm just sweating.
That's right. This year at the Bicentennial in Cleveland, the Fearless Flyers take flight. Brought to you by First Lieutenant from Minneapolis, Minnesota, Cory Wong flying a Fender Stratocaster. And from Fort Worth, Texas, First Lieutenant Mark Lettieri on the Baji baritone. And from Lansing, Michigan, First Lieutenant Joe Dara flying a Fender Jazz bass. And ladies and gentlemen, the ace of aces from Chesapeake Bay, Virginia, on drums, the great Nate Smith.
So finally, I took the jacket off. I said, guys, I got to take this off. And so that's all I had on underneath was this V-neck shirt with the sleeves cut off. And that was the video. I think the first video we shot with that was Ace of Aces. That was the first one.
might have been the first tune we recorded, but Ace of Aces, which ironically is the one that I'm not on baritone guitar playing, right? That song came about because Jack had sort of collected some like Instagram clips of us doing stuff. Me doing this kind of funky, sort of gospel-esque guitar.
Ace of Aces features the very same sort of viral video inspiration that Jack came up with the band. He basically, Jack saw these videos and he said, we got to do that.
I had a line that I had written for something I was going to maybe use with my band. And then Jack was like, use that line. There's this video of Mark that has this cool lick here. Let's do this here. Oh, there's this video of Nate doing this thing. Let's do this here.
Jack said, let's make this into a thing. So we all I tried to remember what I did in that solo, and we brought that in, and then we brought in, I think, another little riff or something that Cory and I had come up with, and Jack had some ideas, and that was Ace of Aces.
Well, the Ace of Aces has this guitar downstroke thing that I was talking about. So it's basically, we took the video of Mark playing with me at the Super Jam, and we turned it into that song, because in that, there's that guitar break that's like, Mark's groove is inspired from the video. Nate's groove up top is inspired from just the solo videos of him. So I do think that song is emblematic of the band, because it has this thing that is echoing what Jack saw in the first place on sending him back and forth videos, and said like, oh, that's what we got to do.
And then they put that out, and it kind of went nuts. It kind of went crazy.
It just blew up on the internet. And that's when I got it. That's when I got, not only did I really get the Fearless Flyers thing, but I got the Wolfpack thing.
I think what was most unique about this situation, the Fearless Flyers situation, was I had been watching how they use the internet. Like, I had been watching how they used social media to build their audience. And I'd also paid attention to how they seemed to understand that their audience was going to be made up of guys who play, guys who love gear, guys who love music. They kind of knew. And so the way they designed their videos, the way that they would sort of build in all of the stuff that would intrigue that audience, that was very intriguing to me. The other thing that was very different for me was how quickly the music would happen.
There wasn't really anything planned going in. Jack was like, let's not write anything. I'm like, cool, but I'm like gonna have a few things also ready to go in case.
Jack was very much like, cool, we're ready. Let's keep that inspiration of like, hey, this 2 minutes of groove feels great. Done, go, record. And so it's pretty much how everything was captured.
We would come in, Cory would have a demo, Mark would have a demo, and they would go back and forth. Here's this riff, here's this idea. Okay, let's play this. Let's play the bridge. Let's put it together. All right, let's do 3 takes.
3 takes, I guess, of each, just like we do with Wolfpack. But, now I listen back and I'm like, oh, there's a rawness to it. When I listen to Ace of Aces, there's kind of a nervous energy to it, which I really like.
What was really amazing about Jack was, at the same time that he was arranging the music or helping us to arrange it, he was also thinking of the visual. He was also thinking of, okay, so I'm going to start tight here, and I'm going to go over here, and I'm going to do this thing. So it really, when I saw it all come together, I was like, wow, this is a concept. These dudes have a concept. And I learned a lot, man. I continue to learn a lot. That's the thing I love about the band, is that there is a real design.
I never thought that we would find ourselves 8 years later in Italy, sitting on the ocean, and there's no way that I thought that this band would take on the life that it has, because we had every intention of it just being a side project, just like we've done with Wolfpack. Like we've done these various features, and then you feature somebody and you kind of like you put it in on the record, and that's maybe the first and last time you ever play with them. And so I didn't necessarily think that it would be much more than a sort of one-off, and it turned out to be a tradition where we got together every year in January in LA, and that was cool, but it was still sort of just a studio band. And so now this is the first time that it does feel like this is a real band, and now having these shows under our belt, it feels like people perceive that we're out here iterating live. You know, the show is taking on a life of its own. And so, yeah, it's really like it's a testament to how much fun everyone had with the first record.
Okay.
Indeed.
All four of us individually or together?
Together.
Together. Let's do it.
And no phones in the pocket.
No phones in the pockets.
Oh, this is cool. I just need you guys to scooch a little bit just next so Nate has a little more light. Perfect. Cool. And it helps me if you do micro movements, so look away, look there, look down, you know, so we have a little bit of variation. I like it. I like it. Cool. And Joe, look away. And Mark, look at me. And Nate as well. And Cory, look that way. 6.
Good fit.
Thank you.
Yeah, you are quick.
You put the black guy in the shadow though?
Dude, no, that needs lightning in post.
Dara on the bass. Never been to Sicily. Heard it's amazing. Unfortunately, have less than 24 hours there. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be a good one.
It's incredibly late stage time, though, right?
Is it?
Oops, accidentally headlining. Oops, we're headlining festivals.
Okay, yeah, you're
Oopsies.
right.
Oops, sorry, got too big. Last band on the bill. Oops.
Tiger balm. I'm gonna try it. Does it do anything? I don't know. It's kind of like it's like icy hot. Yeah.
What's going on here? You have bursitis.
What's happening? Anybody get any coffee?
Not yet. Yeah, it's a ways down.
I might see if we can take a pit stop, you know. Little roadside espresso bar, 5 minutes, just alright. No objections? People out here. I found my people. I will be here until further notice.
Bought stock in these guys. I'm going to be importing it to the United States to continue to inspire the youth.
Skibbity toilet. Skibbity toilet.
This is where me
If you got brain rot, you ain't got brain rot till you got Italian brain rot.
This is where we Irish folk, you know, me and Dara Quilty are a little bit shit out of luck in Italy because they'll never be without coffee, but they might be without tea.
Yeah.
That's exactly what's happening here.
The Italians have an interesting swing percentage to the way they talk. What's that? If you're a croissant guy, top 3 croissants I've ever had.
Shit. I ate breakfast at the hotel. Should I? I don't know if I should. I mean, I want to, but I don't know if I should.
Asked, what is Scum? Why is the tune named Scum? And there is a deep tradition in jazz history to name things after a person or after things like Subconscious Lee for Lee Morgan, or, you know, there's these sort of things, Miles of whatever, you know, there's these tunes where you mention somebody's name. The original idea / demo for this tune came from Mark. It was called Sco Vibe. If it's not obvious, it's got a little Schofield thing to it. I thought it'd be more fun, instead of just calling it Sco Vibe, to give homage to the greatest music expose of all time, Some Kind of Monster. So it's a Metallica / John Schofield nod.
The world had been waiting for.
That everybody had been waiting for.
Yeah. Does the audience know? Should the internet know?
What?
That every single song of this tour, Cory needs to sing me the first 5 seconds of it.
Last night was especially the opening of the set. You're like, you know what song is it?
You know what?
know why? It's because I always write out my notes, and bass notes look like this. First note, 5th fret, like really dumb. But I left it in the green room.
He looks at me, what song is this? I'm like, C, ba, 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 da, ba, and he's like this.
I couldn't hear you for the record. On that one I couldn't hear you. Anyway, the problem is instrumental music, song titles, no lyrics, nothing to store it.
It was him looking at me like this.
We'll do it live.
Hey, get this guy.
Yeah, and he nailed every song.
Thank you. In the spirit of that, Cory.
In F sharp.
My man.
Joe Dart is a one-of-a-kind singular voice on the instrument. His articulation on the bass is unlike any other. He's got so much chops and he's got so much depth in his musicality. Like he can lay down the groove, but what separates him from anybody else is the articulation. And for years, I was trying to figure out, like, how does he get that sound? Because I have his instruments and I set him up the way that I have my guy back home, Ted Vig, sets up all my instruments, and he's incredible, sets them up exactly how I want it. I was like, wait a minute, I don't sound like Joe because Joe's action is like this high. His right-hand fingers are strong.
I think what is most unique to me about Joe is, it's rare to meet a player at Joe's age. He's a relatively young musician, I mean, he's a grown man playing music, but he seems to have a real connection with the bass. I feel like to listen to Joe play is you feel like you know Joe when you listen to him play, and that's a thing that usually, and it'll get deeper over time, but usually you hear that in a musician who's like much older.
I love Joe, man. Also, a really cool guy. He has a very singular sound that he has honed in and crafted to perfection. I love it, and I know what I'm going to get when I hear it. I'm going to get the Joe Dart thing. And it's kind of this cross between Rocco Prestia, maybe Jocko a little bit, but then there's like maybe some Flea in there too, or some Louis Johnson kind of, maybe, I don't know. You would have to, Berdine White perhaps.
But his articulation is unlike anybody else's. Like, I'll hear a lot of people play the same parts and it's just like, you're playing all the right notes, attacks are the same, releases are the same, but there's something in the transient that doesn't feel the same as when Joe plays it. I'm talking just DI bass. He's got something in the way that he plays and the way that he attacks that's so unique.
I think Joe articulates himself brilliantly through his instrument. I feel like his personality comes, like there's really, the instrument is an extension of him.
He's self-actualized as a bass player. He just knows this is it, this is what I do, and you're gonna like it, and everybody does.
When they did the first Joe Dart signature bass, I think that was the one with one button, one knob. And, there's something, I think that there was something in the marketing that they were putting together that they were saying, yeah, it's not the knob, it's your hands. It's your hands that do it. You know what I mean? What do you mean it doesn't have any tone? You don't have any tone. And in a funny way, it's true. It's like, the hand, everything, all the gear, all the stuff in the world, like it really comes down to the player and his instrument. And Joe has a real connection with his instrument.
Joe and I met at Bunkers in 2013. I was playing a gig. He came by with some friends that we had mutual friends. He was traveling through town in Minneapolis. Came to the gig. We hung out. It's like, yeah, let's go grab breakfast in the morning. I got a spot here in Minneapolis. We had breakfast, hung out, started traveling to LA more. This is right around the time when like Theo and Jack and a lot of people were moving to LA. I was doing a lot of work there, so I was traveling. We just started hanging out, dinner hangs and whatnot. And then one day Jack invited a bunch of us over to his place to just play some music. And the first time that Joe and I ever played a note together is actually on film. It is the Wolfpack tour vlog, Cory Wong, the original recording of the song Cory Wong. It's like us two sitting on Jack's bed. Yeah, we've been great friends ever since. It's been fun. We've traveled the world together. We've played a lot of music together. Just, shared so many amazing life experiences together. It's insane.
Joe is great, man, to travel with. He's really great because, he seems to always know where to go. He seems to, or if he doesn't know, he knows who to ask about where to go. And he's a real, global citizen, man. He's the guy who, when you get to the local town, what's the local thing? Where do I eat? What's the local drink? What's the local, he's always kind of looking for that thing. And that's a sign of a well-traveled person and a person who lives a really full life on the road.
You know what? This would be the southernmost concert that I've ever played on the continent of Europe. And you can feel the heat, but the further south you go, the hotter it gets, the better the food gets. That much I can tell you.
He's a man of food and taste. And I like that because I love to go searching for the local eats. And so we hang out quite a bit. We go and get coffee. We go check out restaurants. This tour has been great. We've had quite a few meals together, just hanging out.
The thing is, he's such a curious person. He's an intellectual. He's kind and warm as a person. He's a great friend. Fun to travel with. He's wanting to get out and explore the culture and city and food of wherever we are.
It's really hard to say because the south of France is incredible as well, but I gotta say the olive oil here is even that much better. And we just had a simple lunch. A little bit of spaghetti with olive oil and garlic and a little parsley and a touch of Chianti Classico, and I'm fueled up.
Dart knows how to make a perfect dinner order for the table, any city, anywhere we go.
And cornetto? Got two. You want? Sorry, 2 teas, plain croissant. Anybody else want a cornetto? Two plain croissants. Yeah. 2 hot teas. Do you want a coffee yet? Americano.
He can just place the order and everybody's stoked.
Straight from the 9. Excuse me. Take 2. Take 3. Straight from the mind of Nate Smith, this is Autobahn. That's it.
Everyone in the band has their own unique character, both on stage and off, and it's interesting to get to know people both musically and personally. Nate Smith is a hilarious guy and a really fun guy to tour with because he's got so much touring under his belt. He's got so much experience as a musician, so he's just seen it all.
How do I describe Nate Smith? He's just a cool dude. Everything about him is cool. Dress is cool. He's just cool, Joe Cool, what is it? Snoopy. And you want to be around that. Maybe I can absorb a little bit of this coolness. And then he gets behind the drums and it's like, okay, well that makes sense. This is one of the funkiest human beings I've ever seen play.
The Fearless Flyers were not going to happen without Nate Smith. That was the one Jack was like, it's the band surrounding Nate Smith. It's all about Nate and those legendary Nate Smith videos. So a lot of pressure on that cold email. There's a difference between people who are drummers and people who are musicians that play the drums. Nate is very much an artist who's a musician who plays the drums.
He seems unsurprised and kind of unflinching in terms of waking up and staring down the barrel of an 8 a.m. lobby call. Good spirits, put together, and usually prioritizes rest on the road. I'm always impressed by people who can leave the gig promptly and go to sleep. I think that's a pro move. You know, very brings it on sound check and at the show equally.
I mean, he's a absolute funk machine, but he's an incredible jazz drummer. He's just a very, very musical person. And as a guitar player, to play with a drummer that's he's solid, but he's also reactive, which is super important. Because he's listening to exactly what you're doing, but he's also able to play in a way where everything feels great, the time is perfect, but there's still interplay, right? It's not mechanical, and I love that about drummers.
Such a funny cat too, like out of nowhere. Sometimes he'll just start a bit when we're at the train station. It's like, oh, that's funny, and then he'll keep going and keep going. It's like, this is amazing. It's really funny. I think a lot of people don't understand how funny Nate can be, because that part of his personality doesn't always come out in his playing. Absolute sweetheart of a guy, just kindest person, super nice, and just down for whatever.
And I will say this, when I did the session with them, I posted an Instagram shot. It was just text. And it was like, I'm in the studio with Jack Stratton, Cory Wong, Joe Dart, and Mark Lettieri. The first time I posted it, I mistakenly said Mike Lettieri. So I had to take that off. Sorry, Mark. Sorry about that, man.
Nate makes playing bass really easy. Nate is one of those drummers that he sort of tees it up for you. You hear about, the pocket. It's like you can sit in this pocket. When I play with Nate, it's like I can play very naturally because what he's doing is he's creating the groove and he's leaving a lot of room. If you lay back a little bit, he'll respond to that. If you're on top of the beat, he'll respond to that. And he's one of those drummers who just listens a lot. If you play a fill, he's right there with you. He's anticipating what you're going to play. He's matching you. He's doing, counterpoint with you. And, that's the kind of stuff that you only get from years and years of playing with many, many musicians. And so, I get to play with a lot of great drummers, but Nate's unique. He's also somebody who can command the attention and captivate an audience on his own.
Was last night Rome? Not Rome. Rome was a particularly hot and sweaty one because they didn't have the fans, and it was like a mosquito fest out there. So I woke up with a lot of new tattoos.
By fans, you mean?
By literal fans. We had plenty of fans. We had plenty of people, but the actual fans like this, we didn't have any of those. You dig? And we need those because I sweat like a preacher when I start playing, man. It's crazy. It's crazy. mic. No, we'll be making that mistake again.
Lettieri, I said it before. He's kind of a guitar god. You know, you can't really fake that. It's like you either have the chops and the tone and the vocabulary to really do it, or you don't. And so, you know, I get to listen to him every night.
Brother Mark Lettieri, like, probably the coolest, you know, cat. Like, I think, you know, just kind of, he seems to have a really sort of centered energy in his approach in his approach to the instrument. Like, I never feel like Mark is overdoing it, and I never feel like he is phoning it in.
Mark is a guy, just shows up. What's happening, cats? Well, hey, it's great to meet you guys. I don't know what we're doing, but I'm stoked to be here.
It's kind of freaky with Mark because he always seems to play the right thing, like, all the time. And as I've gotten to know him and gotten to play with him, he has a very deep musical, you can hear a lot of influences in his playing. It's, you know, it starts out in this band, it starts with, you know, kind of primarily like late 70s, early 80s kind of funk music. That's kind of what we're drawing from. But we open up into these improvised sections. And you can hear a lot of like fusion, jazz fusion, some straight ahead jazz language in his playing. Like, you hear a lot of stuff in there. And contemporary gospel in his playing too, you know.
I get to just be listening like an audience member. And I think audience members are getting their money's worth, because, you know, how rare to get to really watch somebody truly shredding on guitar in a way that actually captivates you and means something. It's not just a bunch of notes. I mean, it's the choices that he makes. So, yeah, for me, it's a thrill.
Mark as a dude is a sweetheart, other than when he's a total dick. Did you just give me the Triple H? Wait, it wasn't Triple H. Who's the guy that did this?
Yeah, it was. DX. Triple H, Shawn Michaels.
It came from professional wrestling.
Generation X.
Get this, though. I'm from Minneapolis. A lot of professional wrestlers are from the Twin Cities area. When I was in high school, I belonged to a grappling gym and a boxing gym. Hawk and Animal, the Legions of Doom guys, you know, the guys with the big spikes, they came and worked out. I wrestled with these guys. And I was 130 pounds, you know, scrawny little high school kid. And they're teaching me all this stuff. They're like, all right, for the next 45 minutes, you need to do double leg takedown. You need to try to do a double leg takedown on X-Pac. 45 minutes. And it's just training him. It's draining him. It's draining and training me. Brock Lesnar was in there. I wrestled with Brock. Like, he basically just like one arm, boom, slam me on the ground. And these guys are toasting me and everything. You know, they maybe had some extracurriculars that were helping their physique that I didn't have. Well, we got to get back to this. All right, back to Lettieri.
Texas, man. He's Texas. I liken Mark to a sort of, all-American cat. You know, he brings that Texas energy.
I've said it before. I've said it on the microphone at live shows. I truly think that Mark is the greatest guitar player of our generation. New era of the Fearless Flyers coming in hot. We went 7-8 years without any social media. We were just living on the Wolfpack channels. We are now independent of Wolf Records. Amicable split, totally fine. Jack has other projects he's focusing on. We wanted to do other stuff. As of a couple days ago, we were hanging out and it was finally like, yeah, we should probably have our own social media. So here we are. Fearless Flyers taken. The Fearless Flyers taken. Fearless Flyers official taken. The official Fearless Flyers taken. The Fearless Flyers official taken. Fearless Flyers band taken. The Fearless Flyers band taken. Not taken, underscore the Fearless Flyers. So we are at underscore the Fearless Flyers.
Cory Wong has always been, I think the word that comes to mind for Cory is there's a discipline about what Cory does. He's a very disciplined musician and disciplined band leader. And also he really seems to have this very infectious enthusiasm. Like he's such an enthusiastic cat and his vibe is so positive that he brings everybody up, you know, on stage, you know, on the off stage, like he lifts people up. He's really great at that.
To me, he's the hardest working man in show business. You know, it's tireless. I mean, he gets off stage after sound check and he's talking to you know, the media team and getting the pictures and getting the live stream action going, or he's, you know, promoting the show. He's getting the set list together. He's scheming about you know, future tours. I mean, he's doing it all, and we're you know, it's a collaborative thing, but you need somebody to kind of take the lead, and so that's been Cory's role off the stage.
Now that we're no longer rivals or whatever, even though I don't think we ever were, that's what you get for reading the internet. Man, I love Cory. It's really fun to get to play music with him. He's and like I said, kind of like Joe, he's self-actualized. He knows what he wants, what he sounds like, what he needs to do to make that happen, and how to get it out to people. And if you're an artist, that's the three things you have to make it work. He's obviously has an incredible work ethic that's just like mind blowing. Well, he's always got ideas, but then he actually goes and does them. You know, most of us are just like, wouldn't it be cool if? And then he goes and does it.
I never thought I'd die alone another 6 months on.
I think every organization has a sergeant at arms. And I think Cory falls into that category. I think he befits that. Like he definitely can say, okay, cats, you know, let's do this. A, B, C, D, E, let's try this. And, you know, I think every group has a visionary person like that, or like someone who can see the logistics and say, okay, this is our first step.
His work ethic is just absolutely incredible and inspiring, and it's definitely lit a fire under my ass, I think, a little bit. And I work really hard. You know, I work really, really hard. Of course, you have to. But I think now I work with a little bit more focus.
Just got to the festival grounds. I like to scope a little bit just to see what the environment is, see where the people are. And I also like to see what gear we're using. Let's check out the front of house. Unfortunately, I get a little involved in the technical side because I enjoy it. Ooh, I like what I'm seeing. Looks to me like a Heritage D HD 96. This is Miles, front of house engineer, production manager. Hates being on camera, but here we are.
On the stage, I mean, just you know, the energy, and he's not afraid to stretch out and to improvise. He'll go with anything, and his pocket as a rhythm guitarist is unbelievable. And he's also got a couple lead solos where he really takes us on a journey. It's cool to see that side of him because he's playing a supportive role. I would say in Wolfpack he's more a supportive role, whereas in Fearless Flyers he takes a lead role alongside Mark.
In G.
he's made his mark. He's made his mark, and I think he's made it in large part because of that discipline and that enthusiasm and that joy for what he does. I mean, he's managed to take his touring band all over the world. His audience has grown. I mean, we've watched it. Like when I met him in 2018, he wasn't as big a name as he is now, and he's just kind of worked sort of relentlessly at it. So nothing but respect for Cory. Well, you know, Cory's guitar sound for me, I hear Minneapolis. I hear like the history of Minneapolis guitar in Cory's playing, because he's coming so deep out of that sound, like Prince, Jesse Johnson, that rhythm guitar and like funk guitar thing. He's coming out of that, and another video I saw that Wolf made was with the great drummer Michael Bland. He used to play with New Power Generation and Prince and the New Power Generation. And when I saw that video, I was like, okay, so this guy, not only does he play his instrument, but he has a sense, another sense of history about like what the dots they're connecting are musically, you know? But there's so much Minneapolis in what Cory does. There really is. And I dig it. I really do dig that.
Yeah, we saw Cory at Bunkers in Minneapolis, the weekly jam that they would have there. And it was sort of like a legendary session that would often involve Prince himself and definitely Prince's band members when they're not on the road. And Sundays and Mondays they would be playing the funkiest stuff. And we were in town on tour, I think with Theo Katzman years ago. Maybe it was with Wolfpack, but in any event, Strat was there, I was there, Theo was there. And we saw Cory and blew our minds. I mean, the tone, the groove, the time. And so again, kind of, starstruck. And we didn't even actually end up talking to him that night. But we messaged afterwards and stayed in touch. And eventually we found ourselves in LA at the same time. He came over to Jack's place. Might have even been 14, 15 and came out and, sat on Jack's bed and jammed with us. And that became the song Cory Wong.
Oh, it's the real deal. And I think people need to understand that. I mean, it's great music and great playing and great experiences. He's very good at presenting a positive musical experience for an audience. Yeah. And that's important.
Lettieri on the guitar. Baritone guitar. My name is Cory Wong. I am playing the guitar. We are the Fearless Flyers. Thank you so much. We're going to walk over there. Hopefully you clap more and come and play one more song. Yeah, 3, 4. Yeah, man. Yeah, Francesco.
Oh yeah.
Il suono dei loro strumenti è stupendo, vorrei continuarlo a sentire per tutta la mia vita.
It means that you wanna keep on listen to them for all his life.
Oh, thank you so much, man. Thank you. It's really great to see you. Martha, thank you so much.
I think over the past 8 years, what I think has made the Flyers interesting is that we have this thing where we disappear and we reappear, and I think that's kind of what drives the excitement around what we do. At this point, now we're the fifth record, and actually I think there was another record with the Hornstuck Tailwind, so it's actually our sixth record. But at this point, I feel like people are starting to get to know us, and I'm looking forward to the musical evolution too, like to see if there's other places we can go and if the audience will come with us.
On a personal level, I always wanted to see the band expand compositionally a little bit, and kind of not lose sight of what makes the Fearless Flyers, but also, kind of open up things a little bit in terms of arrangements, harmony, and obviously we're not turning into a complex fusion band or anything like that at all. The essence of the group is still there, but I think the songs are getting maybe a little bit more color and shape in things now, and I think that's cool. I think we all kind of wanted to see if that could happen.
Well, I think for me, watching the band take on its own energy has been really cool. We've flown from the Wolfpack nest, and we've got more creative juices flowing than ever. We've got kind of a new sound that we've opened up with this last record. We've got the freedom to tour more and potentially collaborate more with people. We've got new concepts as a band. What would happen if we tried an acoustic album? What would happen if we featured a singer? What would happen if we let ourselves explore outside the confines of the first few records, which were amazing, I think, because of the confines, but now we're stretching more. And I also really just want to bring this band to more of the world. Now we have a fan base all over the world. And so it's exciting. It's like, okay, let's go to Japan. Let's go to South America. Let's come back to Europe. And with each tour, I think we get tighter as a band, and we get to know each other more, and it makes collaborating in the studio for future records that much easier and more fruitful.
But I also do see this this kind of, for lack of a better term, like scarcity model working for us. It's like we don't play that often, so when we play, you got to come see us. Like you got to come check the music. You know what I mean? Because who knows when we're going to be playing again. I think that keeps people in suspense,
That's a wrap. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
I almost did not join the Fearless Flyers. Somebody else could be sitting here right now.
It's perfect. That's it.
If I wanted to, I could have been a professional wrestler, but instead,